we come together under a simple and powerful conviction that no one should be hungry. And for me, that has been an amazing experience, not just on the professional side, but also on the spiritual side of sharing our faith.
In God's hand, those small little actions can build. And together, when we contribute just a small amount, it can grow, and God can turn small acts into miracles.
It's the Lord's work. He feeds them from his hand. And all we do is provide the means for that to happen in our world. And so, I like to say to our team, we hold on tightly to our efforts, so we make sure that we're doing our best work, but we hold on loosely to the outcomes because they belong to the Lord.
Taking up the cause of the fatherless, pleading the case of the widow, defending the oppressed, learning to do right and seek justice. When it comes to food and food insecurity, more so than about charity and feeding people, I find it's a case of justice and injustice.
And to hear the stories of women who now have a say in how the income in the household is spent, and how husbands are, this one man, he said, now I admire the strength and the creativity, the ingenuity of my wife. And just to hear that little anecdote of that one family that could be multiplied in countries all over where CFGB members are doing that kind of programming, that impacted me.
And I believe strongly that God has a heart and for the hungry and the oppressed and the marginalized, and that because he has a heart for those who are particularly vulnerable, so should we.
Whether that is in Ethiopia, whether that is in Toronto, whether that is in Western Canada, it's when we look out and I see men and women, families, communities, foundations, people saying, I want to give, I want to be generous.
People are digging deeper and saying, we want to be involved. We resonate with relief, development, and peace in the name of Christ. We want to be part of this. I'm pretty excited by the generosity that I see and feel and sense around. It's remarkable, and I'm really grateful.
I also really appreciate the opportunity to be strengthened through the process. It's very much a learning opportunity to hear how are other people approaching things? How can we better work together?
It's a great group of people to work with. And not only that, we're able to make a bigger difference. There's so much need in the world that we don't need to try to do it all by ourselves. So being able to work together as a group is something I find is just very valuable.
All of us are trying to figure out how best to serve our partners that we work with around the world, and really being in tune with their own sense of vision for what they have in serving their own communities. And they are often on the front lines related to climate change and related to these long-term food security issues.
Our work in the home base is to continue praying for them, providing material support as we're able, yes, and some technical assistance, but a lot of the knowledge is already there. They're already sharing it amongst themselves.
We have enough on this little planet for all, so it's our mission to share that abundance that we have and that we have been given in order to help even things out, even a little bit. With those who struggle to find food on a daily basis.
We have to be very much resilient, because for what we read, on what we work, it's always like there is, you can get hopeless very soon, but fortunately we have our faith in action that make us think that things can change, and so we commit ourselves to that.
We transform one life at a time, and if they can have that smile to say, look, I am now fed. Look, I'm now clothed. That transformative impact does really excite me.